Let's hear it for our videographer. There you go. Candles. Tonight we have a special treat. Not only do we have candles online, but we have the real deal here. Let's swipe again. But before we light the candles, we're gonna join in a little nigun. A nigun is a melody without words, except we've got a few words. And let me show you what the words are. The translation is, "Let the soul of everything alive bless your name, Adonai our God." Let's stop there. Let's go to the next page. It goes like this. And it's kind of a call and response thing. I'll sing a phrase and you sing the same thing back. Nishma, Nishma, Kol Chai, Tevarech, Et Shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu. Now we'll just sing it in Nishma, Kol Chai, Tevarech, Et Shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu. Nishma. Oh, here comes the crowd. Here we go. So the ringleader there, that's my daughter Rebecca. And the gentleman who came in before is my good friend Jim Mendel. He's on the board of directors of Sim Shalom. There you go. This is
any questions? Let me know.
Any questions? Okay. All right. Israel, ve'oraita, charu Israel, Israel, ve'oraita, charu. Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah. Torah, ora, Torah, ora. About to light the candles. Why do you think I'm singing this song? What's the last line? What does it say? The Torah is light. Hallelujah. That's what we're going to sing in Hebrew. Just that phrase. Torah, 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 hallelujah. Torah, 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 hallelujah. down. Don't sit down. You're at a perfect time. I want you to come forward around the table. Because you are going to honor us this evening by lighting the Shabbat candles. Right? I want to welcome you, first of all. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. So, gather around the Shabbat candles. Okay. So, what are your names? What are your names so we know?
I'm Janelle. I'm Olivia.
Okay.
I'm Jocelyn.
Okay.
Maddie.
Excellent. So all four of you, you're all going to have something to do right now. I want you first. You're going to take a match.
Okay.
All right? Okay. Give it a strike. Pass it to your neighbor. And let her light the first candle. Great job so far. Okay. Light another one, and we'll do the same thing with you two girls, too. That was so well done. Now, here's what you're going to do. Go like this. Just like this. I know, it's strange. We have a tradition where the tradition is not to wave to yourself, but the tradition is to bring the light of the Sabbath into your life, into your heart. This next 24 hours that you have, you're supposed to enjoy them. You're supposed to be with your friends. You're supposed to do things that you love to do. That's what Shabbat is all about. So now we're going to sing the blessing. Look at that and join with me. Even if you don't know it. Those of you who know the melody, join with Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'havlikner shel That was very, very well done. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. You can be seated. Thank you for helping. We really appreciate that. Okay, moving ahead. Let's sing Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Mi'melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bo'achem l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi'melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. We got swipe. Thank you. Baruch, you're doing a great job. Baruch, L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi'melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seifem l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi'melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Oh, candles again. Let's keep going. All right. So now, in a traditional Friday night service, what you have now, we light the Shabbat candles, and we come to some psalms. We're supposed to do traditionally we have 6 psalms that we read on a Friday night that correspond to the 6 days of creation, and we're only going to do a little bit of 2. So because we don't have a lot of time, we can go out to the next one. And this is a little melody I wrote. Remember this, Rebecca? who might be Hebrew challenged, and I'm sure there are some, there's the transliteration right there, all right? That first part. So try and sing with me. Now we're going to sing this sentence. Wow, you're really getting the hang of it. That's what I like about this, Sarah. Exalt Adonai our God and bow towards God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy. And now we'll have the next page. You got to move with me. All right. Now we're going to start. You see that it starts with Adonai right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 12 words in. The last word, Hebrew word, last English word on the right side there in the first line. And this is a call and response also. All right, here we go. So repeat after me. Adonai. That was really good. Lama bu yashav. Vayeshev Adonai. Melech leolam. Adonai Oz, Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yivarech, Yivarech et Amo, Vashalom. Now we got the chorus. Vashalom. Shalom, Adonai Yivarech, Yivarech Amo, Vashalom, 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 Adonai Yivarech, Yivarech Amo, Vashalom, Vashalom. Now, I've added to our traditional liturgy a song from Fiddler on the Roof because it's totally the best Shabbat night song you could ever sing. So, who's seen Fiddler on the Roof here? Cool. All right. So, you remember that scene where they're lighting the Shabbat candles? And it's like it tears at your heartstrings. Try and go back. They're lighting them. So it goes like this. May the Lord protect and defend you. May He always shield you from shame. May you come to be in Israel a shining name. And like Esther, may you be deserving of praise. Strengthen them, O Lord, and keep them from the stranger's ways. Now, I'm going to stop for a minute. So I'm going to sing, may God bless you and grant you long life. And then all of you are going to sing, may the Lord fulfill our Sabbath prayer for you. Do you know how that works? Some of you know it? Okay, because you got to carry everybody. Here we go. And may God bless you and grant you long lives. May the Lord fill our Sabbath prayer. Pretty good. May God make you good mothers and wives. May He send you husbands who will care for. Very good. And may the Lord protect and defend you. May the Lord preserve you from pain. going to come to the part where we're going to officially welcome Shabbat in the liturgy, the Lecha Dodi. And but before we do that, I want you to turn to the person next to you and say Shabbat Shalom. And even if you don't know them or even if you don't like them, all right? Okay, excellent. Shabbat Shalom. What are your names?
I'm Robin.
Robin?
Morgan.
Robin and Morgan. Okay. Everybody say Shabbat Shalom to Robin and Morgan. Okay, so now it's a tradition, right? We rise, we're going to face the door and greet the Sabbath bride. All right? Don't sit down yet. Let me see what's coming up. I think it's the, yeah. See, you know how in pretty much in all worship services, you're up and you're down, you're up and you're down. So I'm trying to economize your motion. Now we're going to the Baruch Hu, which is the call to worship. And this is wake up everybody. We're about to really put it out there for God, or for the source of everything. And here's Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. And you will sing Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. La 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 la. La 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 la. Good. Well done, everybody. Be seated. And let's turn together. Let's do a little English reading. Hopefully you can see it. And this is the Ma'ariv Aravim. This is an important prayer because we like to have day and night, right? It's important because we wouldn't be around, right, Sarah? Let's read the English together. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who by word brings on the evening light, with wisdom opens the gates of the heavens, and with understanding changes times and varies the seasons, and arranges the stars in their places in the sky. According to will, creates day and night, rolls away light from before the darkness, and the darkness from before the light, makes the day to become night, and divides the day from the night. Adonai Tzivaot is the name, a living and lasting God. May you rule over us forever and ever. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. without me. Let me hear you. Very pretty. This is the core of the Jewish theology, the one God. And it's interesting, in our Torah portion, we're going to talk about a little bit in a few minutes, we have the first example, the story of how that's derived. So, let's continue. Let's go to the English, see if we have it here. Yeah, good. All right. Let's read this together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments, and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God, and in the Hebrew, Adonai Elohechem Emet, I am the Lord your God, who is true. Everybody BJ? First, I want to welcome Rabbi Jordy, who's the Hillel rabbi here. It's a great pleasure to have you here tonight.
They want to see you.
And also the director of the Hillel here is Susan Leff. And there she is. All right. Anyway, I was just saying to Rabbi Jordy that this melody comes, I think I got it from a congregation down the block from me. So, la 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 I have to tell you. Vishamru Bnei Israel et Hashava Masoret Hashava Medoret HaMerit Torah Beini u'bein Bnei Israel Ohi leolam Ohi leolam Vishamru Vayom Ashvi Shabbat Vayinapash Shabbat Vayinapash Vishamru Bnei Israel et HaShabbat V'aso et HaShabbat Ledorot HaMerit Olam Yitkadal Yitkadash Shemei Malchutei, David Levi Halal Shemelikud Shavalihu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Shush Birchata V'Nechemata Zamira V'Alma V'Maru Amen. Just want to explain. This young lady was standing up for the Chatzi Kaddish, and it's a tradition in some synagogues that you stand for the Chatzi Kaddish. Others it's not. So thank you. All right, we're going to continue with the Amidah. Baruch Atah. Now you stand. Eloheinu, Elohei Eloheinu, V'Himoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Adil HaGadol, HaGibor VeHaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Kolei HaKol, V'Zocher HaSneahot, V'Imahot, U'Mevii Geula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava. Melech Yosef Moshiach U'Mahin, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor, Ve'am Adonai, V'chayei HaKol Atzah, Rav Lehoshiyah, Mechalkel Chaim, Ve'chesed, V'chayei Rabbi, Somet Novi, V'Rofei Elohim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayei B'Emunato, Yishei De'avar, Amicha Mo'av Yimuro, U'Midom So there's these beautiful words from Rav Nachman. You have the right kavanah. People who kavanah the right intention. When you pray, people do it differently. Many people close their eyes and just have a moment. Other people need to read. You can read this beautiful text. Our Torah service. Now we don't have a Torah, but we're symbolically going to do our Torah service tonight. All right? So, next screen. All right. We're going to join together. I'd like, well, you guys had something to do. Can you, would you mind you girls coming up here? Would you mind? Is it okay? Because you're going to take out the Torah. All right? Just come on up. Yeah, come on up. Great. All right, good. So there's an ark on either side. I mean, in the middle is the ark, right? And the go back to the previous screen. There you go. There's the Torah. Okay, so you're going to open the ark. Symbolically, you've opened it. We'll go to the next screen. Wow, you guys are professionals. Vayikivin so Aharon, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai ve'putzu, Oyevecha ve'yanusu, Misanecha mipanecha, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Udevar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael v'Kedushato. All right, so now let me see. All of you symbolically have a Torah. All right, it's by your heart. All right, face everybody. Very good. And we're going to all join together in the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Now you're supposed to face the ark and give a bow. That's all right. Gadol Adonai iti, uneno b'ma shemo yachdav. Next screen. All right. So now symbolically, you're going to go back to your seats, but I want you to imagine that you're parading around with Sifrei Torah, right? With Torah by your heart. And everybody is saying Shabbat Shalom. Can everybody say Shabbat Shalom? Give them a hug, give them a kiss, shake their hand, all right? Everybody say Torah, 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 Tzivadanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tzivadanu Moshe. You guys were awesome. Thank you very much. All right, you can all be seated. All right, our Torah portion this evening is Chayei Sarah. So we're all going to join in the blessing. We're all going to have a group aliyah. All right? Everybody say the blessing with me. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamorah. Baruch Adonai Hamorah le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. So as I said a moment ago, those of you who might not remember or might not be familiar, there might be some of you who aren't Jewish here tonight, we read from the Torah every week, and we read a chapter, and we complete the whole reading over the course of the year. So tonight we read about Chayei Sarah. It's the passing of the matriarch Sarah. And the thing about it is this Torah portion doesn't say the death of Sarah. It talks about the life of Sarah. So let's examine this a bit. Go ahead. All right. I'm going to do a little bit of the laning. Those of you who can read Hebrew, read with me. All right? If you can read it. We won't even. Vayihiyu Chayei Sarah Mea Shana Ve'esrim Shana V'sheva Shanim Shnei Chayei Sarah. I can't even see it. V'tamet Sarah B'kiryat Arba Hi Hebron Be'eretz Canaan Vayavo Abraham Lispod L'Sarah V'livkotav. All right, and the translation, right? And the life of Sarah was 100 years and 100 years and 20 years and 7 years. It would have been easier to say 127 years. But, these were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Kiryat Arba, which is in Hebron. And this is, we know, this is a place in Israel. It's a sacred place, and it's been a contested place in Eretz Israel. In the land of Canaan, and Abraham came to eulogize Sarah and bewail her. Okay, right, here we go. So we're going to do a quick recap because I thought it would be interesting. We've got 25 minutes, and I can do this in 10 minutes. All right, but I need your help. I need your help. I need you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the story of Abraham and Sarah up till now, because Sarah is passing. I want to recap what's going on and point out the seeds of peace, because this is the Shabbat of peace for you all, right? I want to point out the seeds of peace for you and what your mission is as you move through your journeys of life, what you can bring to the table. All right. So just read it for me, if you don't mind. I'm just going to call on. Read the first one. Each one gets a paragraph. Go ahead.
Almost 4,000 years ago, at the age of 75,
Avram,
who believes in one God, is told to
Lech Lecha.
to the land G will show him.
Gotta be God. I don't put the O in there. Gee, that's an interesting way to say it. I like that. Gee.
Later God tells Abram the land will be assigned to him.
Okay, so we, according to the Jewish tradition, 4,000 years ago, give or take, I don't know, hundreds of years, but almost 4,000 years ago, at the age of 75, according to the Torah, Avram, his name was Avram then, not Abraham, it was Abram, he believed in one God, and he set something going. Something new happened. And God talks to Abraham and said, go forward, I'm going to show you the land where you're going to establish a home and a people, and you're going to preach about the one God. You're going to set that going. Okay, next paragraph. Now wait a minute. But he's going to show Abraham the land that will be assigned to him as a possession. It says that in the Torah. Remember, now this text could have been redacted 2,500 years ago, maybe. So the claim, the ancient claim, is very, very, very real, in our tradition. Okay, next paragraph.
Abram comes to Avram and Sarai in the tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Avram asks her to pretend to be his sister because she is so beautiful and he fears being killed. The Pharaoh sees her and takes her. But a plague comes along and the Pharaoh backs out.
Literally. Now, I made it a little bit funny, but this is what we're talking about, the character of Avram. He's a beautiful man, a righteous man, but what we see here is a very human person. He's afraid of being killed. He's got a beautiful wife. He's going to this other place, and he doesn't want to get killed. So he says, honey, please, don't tell her, that I'm your husband. Say you're my sister, and It's interesting, right, but that was the sensibility then. Next paragraph.
Abram's nephew Lot moves to Sodom. Abram the warrior comes to his rescue and is
Another shade of Avram, of Abraham. He was a warrior. One of my colleagues says, it's almost like Abraham was like a superhero. He's got all this stuff going on. He's a warrior. Now he's a warrior, and he comes to rescue his nephew Lot. Next page. Next verse.
Abram and Sarai have trouble conceiving. Sarai tells him to take Hagar, her handmaiden. Hagar gets pregnant. Sarai has second thoughts and wants Hagar gone.
So Abram and Sarah, they want an heir. They got to pass along the family fortune, and she's not able to conceive. She says, you know what? It's okay. Take my handmaiden. That was the tradition then. It was ownership. They own the handmaiden. So Abram does this, and she gets pregnant, and Sarai is not happy. Okay? Again, the human shadings, what we're seeing about here, about families. Next person.
Sarai is sharp as an arrow. She goes and comes back after God comes to her. All wild acts of a man with his hand against everyone can against him. Ishmael.
Sarai is sharp. Sarai says, basically pushes her away, and Hagar is very upset, and she goes to run away. But then God says, you know what? I'm going to make from you, your son is going to be a wild ass of a man, and with his hand against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. This is the text. It's a translation of the text. One or two words, you can alter it. But the seeds are already set here. Ishmael is the father of what faith?
Islam.
Yes. Okay? Look at the seeds that we're planting in text, 4,000 years, according to tradition, 2,500 years according to redaction, according to being written down. So, just bear that in mind. Moving ahead.
Sarai at 89 and Abram at 99 becomes Sarah, princess, and Abraham, father of nations. God tells them they will have God's covenant and a son. They should name Isaac.
Okay, so now God tells the interesting thing is the years that are ascribed to this couple are fascinating. They're kind of advanced in age, and it's tough to envision. I don't know what else to say about it. We have a past when we look at the years since creation. Like if we say we're 5,700 plus years since creation, we know that a year, the rabbis say a year, well, it could be 1,000,000 years, 1,000 years. That's a year to God. But this is kind of tough. 89 and 99. Something else to think about. Moving ahead. Okay, next person.
God tells Abraham to circumcise Milah himself and his descendants as a sign of the covenant.
We have from this Torah portion the origin of circumcision. Why Jewish boys to this day are circumcised. All right? And why actually in Islam the boys are circumcised as well. Okay, next person. Yeah, would you like to?
After he does this to himself, Ishmael and all the gods in his healing, Abraham is visited by 3 men angels. They tell the couple they will have a son in 1 year.
So what else is going on in our Torah portion now? We have the idea of visiting the sick. Abraham is circumcised. He circumcises himself, his son, and when he's healing, he's visited by 3 angels. We have angels in the Jewish tradition. You might not think we do, but we have a lot of angels going on. Okay, next person.
Meanwhile, God is not happy with the horrible people in Sodom and wants to destroy them.
Okay, sidebar. Now we're reading in the Torah, reading about the family. All of a sudden, now we're in Sodom. You all know the famous story of Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, so next, turn the slide. All right, next person.
Abraham negotiates with God and gets God down to just 10.
God says, I'm gonna get rid of. This is it. They're horrible people. And Abraham says, if I could just find 10 people. It starts out much higher. It's just 10 people that are innocent. Will you spare them? And God says, yes. We have the source here in the Jewish tradition why, in a traditional world, when we do prayer services, we require a quorum of 10 people to say the Kaddish. This is the source of that ritual, of that requirement. Next person.
Instead of 2 guest angels, Lot offers up his daughters to an angry mob.
Right. So this is talk about drama. This is this strange thing. These angels want to get in the door, and all the people in Sodom are nasty, horrible. And Lot says, no, you can't have the angels. Take my daughters. Trust me. You need to read the Torah portion. It attests to the insanity that was going on in this place known as Sodom. All right, continuing.
Lot and his wife tried to escape destruction, but she looks back and just turned into a pillar of salt.
Okay, so this is the source for that story, the pillar of salt story. And in Eretz Israel, there's supposedly a place where that's where it happened. You can go see that salt. There's a lot of salt. Okay, next person.
Oh,
Sorry. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Lot's daughters think they're the last humans on earth, and they want to keep the clan going.
Now you can't make this stuff up, guys. This is now another sidebar. Now Lot's daughters, they're thinking, well, if God is going to kill this, we're all alone. So now we got to keep the race going. So they decide they're going to be together with the dad. You can't make this up. This is soap opera extreme. Next paragraph.
Abraham tells Sarah to pretend to be his sister. This no-seeing king takes her to be his wife until he has a nightmare in which God warns him he will die.
Okay, here, this is take 2 on this. Abraham now, again, he's going to another area, and he's worried about getting killed. He tells his wife, once again, to please pretend to be his sister. Twice. All right, next person.
Sarah gives birth to Isaac. Isaac is circumcised.
All right, the key thing here is at 90. All right? Maybe they're, that's really extreme, right, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. Next line.
Hagar and Ishmael are banished to the desert. Abraham's not happy, but he sends them away. God saves them by showing them a well. God promises Hagar he will make a great nation of Ishmael.
Okay, so here we have the promise, the basis for Islam. We have the promise. God promises Hagar he will make a great nation of Ishmael. We have the seeds. Again, look at the seeds. Moving ahead. Next person.
According to the tradition, years later, when Isaac was an adult, God puts Abraham to the test with Akedah, the binding of Isaac. Abraham says, Hineni.
Yeah, so this is the source you've heard of when Abraham goes out and he's going to show faith. God asks him to sacrifice his son. Abraham is apparently willing to do it. Of course, the rabbis have all kinds of explanations about that he didn't really or whatever, but this is the story of the sacrifice, the greatest sacrifice that God would have expected from Abraham would be to sacrifice the son that he loves the most in the world, the only son. But what happens here? Next person? Oh, we're going over there. Okay. Yeah.
Abraham sacrifices a ram instead of his son.
Okay, and what happens when he sacrifices the ram? The ram's horn is what we use for when on the high holidays we use the shofar. So we have the source for that in this. Now we're finally just caught up to this Torah portion. That's all that came before this. Okay, now let's read about the next person. That's Machpelah, in case you don't know.
The cave of Machpelah was purchased from Ephron the
Hittite.
Hittite in Hebron. According to tradition, Sarah, Abraham, Rebekah, Isaac, Jacob, and Leah are buried there.
Okay, so the Torah establishes Abraham needs a place to bury his wife. And he wants to set up a family place to bury the family in time. And he purchases a cave from Ephron the Hittites. This is the cave of Machpelah. Very, very famous place. It's difficult to even get there now today because it's very disputed and it's not easy, unfortunately. Next person.
Abraham paid 400 shekels, top dollar. Why? So the redactors of the Torah established monetary ownership of the land.
This is the basis for why Eretz Yisrael, the Holy Land, is the Holy Land to the Jews. This transaction, this was a business transaction. It was written in this Torah portion, and this is why we feel that it's ours. That's all I can say. This is it. This is the basic thing. Of course, God promises it, but now we have a business thing. We did the deal. We did the deal. All right. Next person.
Abraham asked his servant, not identified by name in this portion, but according to Midrash, Eliezer, who, by the way, was almost Abraham's heir, to find a wife for Isaac. Eliezer sees Rebekah, asks God for a sign, and puts her to the test. He will ask for water to drink. The one who will water his camels is the one destined for Isaac.
Okay, so now Abraham wants to get an heir for his son. He sends Eliezer, his servant, who is not named right here, he was named earlier in the Torah portion, to find a wife for Isaac. Eliezer asks for a sign. He's talking to God. He says, give me a sign. And he'll ask for a woman, for anybody that walks by, sees a woman. Anyway, the bottom line, Rebecca rises to the occasion. That's my daughter's name, by the way, Rebecca. The next person.
Rebekah's brother Laban introduces Eliezer to Rebekah's father. Bethel, Eliezer, and Rebekah head home and meet Isaac and Abraham.
Okay, now Rebecca's brother Lavan, later on, is going to be a problem. Suffice it to say, he's going to make it very hard for the next patriarch to consummate his love with Rachel. And that's coming up. That's down the pike. This is just something for you to look forward to. Next person.
Abraham marries Keturah and lives to 175. He is buried by both Isaac and Ishmael.
This is perhaps one of the most beautiful sentences for me in the Torah. This happens again with other brothers, but Abraham married, not the fact that he marries Keturah, that's 175. He's buried by both Isaac and Ishmael. These two brothers come together to bury their father. And the seeds of peace here, for me, are sown. Next page. All right, so here's a few takeaways just to recap before we begin to conclude. Monotheism in Judaism. That's what we've established from these readings. The Holy Land promised by God, assigned to Abraham as a possession. Brit Milah, the ritual circumcision. Modern rabbis, liberal rabbis, progressive, I don't know what you want to call them. We examine the idea of not doing a circumcision, but Brit Shalom. This is a new option. Happy to talk to you about it later. Bikur Cholim, when Abraham had the circumcision performed, and the angels visited him, we established the concept of visiting the sick. Bikur Cholim. Name change. Abraham and Sarah's names were changed. When you, in our tradition, when someone is gravely ill in hospital, sometimes a family or a rabbi will say, we can affect the outcome. We're going to change that person's name. It's a mystical exploration of what we could do. Minyan, we need 10 to recite certain prayers. The Kaddish and the Amidah, the Kedusha. The Akedah as an act of faith, or questionably. Right? The Shofar that we use on Rosh Hashanah. The origins of Islam are in this Torah portion. And of course, the seeds of peace. Isaac and Ishmael bury their father together. So, here's my takeaway. Our Torah is a holy narrative comprised of ancient myths, morality tales, and ancient history. It was redacted by men 2,500 to 3,000 years ago. It's inspired by God in the same way that all great thought, writing, and art is inspired. It's the source of the Jewish faith and inspiration, and it is holy. And seeds of hatred in the Middle East were planted 4,000 years ago, as were the seeds of peace. So I want to conclude by saying to all of you that there is light and there is hope for the future. I believe in it very, very strongly, but I'm looking. Our hope really rests with you. It's your voices. It's your spirit that's going to make this change and make it come about, to bring about final peace in the Middle East. And that's what the Shabbat of Peace is all about. It's not that you're going to come and have dinner or sing a few songs. I want you to think. I want you to think about what you can bring to the table. In your journeys, you'll have opportunities. And I'd like you to help to effect that change. You're a gift. Continue. Okay, so now we'll sing this. We're about to put it away, but before we do that, let's do the blessing after the Torah reading. Together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emes v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu Baruch atah Adonai, Noten HaTorah. Sing with me. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. No greed or hunger. Think that religious strife. And no religious strife too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. You say, imagine no possessions. Wonder if you can. Nothing to kill or die for. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. Whoops, go back. Yeah, I'm sorry, I told you. Yeah, go back. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Okay, now I get to do this. Watch this. Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, brother, there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Oh, Father, Father, we don't need testimony. War is not the answer, for only love and good. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Oh, picket lines and picket signs, don't punish me with your brutality. Come on, talk to me so you can see. Oh, what's going on? 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 Give yourselves a hand. You ready? Oh, we have another verse. We're not going to do that. Okay. We have to do a prayer for healing. Very important. We can't conclude a service without doing a prayer for healing. Okay, so anyone who knows anyone who's sick, when we get through the first verse, I want you to mention their names. I'll look around the room. Mention their names, okay? May the source of Leslie Morgan. Did you say something yet? Okay. Who? Lois Blair. Anyone? Jack Phillips. Okay. Anyone else? Bless those in need of healing with the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Okay, so the Torah is everybody rise? We're going to return the Torah. It's let's go past this. Next one. See you later. Because this is going to be our blessing for this evening. I'm sorry we're running a few minutes late. I just want to acknowledge everyone again. The director of Hillel, Susan Leff. Let's have a hand, Susan. Rabbi Jody. Let's have a hand, Rabbi Jody. Yeah. I want to thank Sarah and Sharon Shanna come back? Okay. Okay. And John and Barbara. Did you do good? Did you get? You think so? Okay. I want to thank you all and all of you for coming tonight. This is really, really great. As I mentioned, we have an online. You might not have been here, but I have an online synagogue, and we're reaching about 100 people a week. And if you're interested at all, if you've got nothing going on a Friday night for an hour, feel free to join me at simshalom.com. I can give you more information over dinner. Also, I want to thank you all for coming. This is a lot of fun for me. I hope you enjoyed it. And now we'll conclude with, before we make Kiddush, we'll conclude with this blessing by Bob Dylan. You can sing with me. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young. Forever young. Forever young. May you stay forever young. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of change shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. May you stay for all of you. Just freeze yourselves right where you are. You're gonna grow. You're gonna grow in a lot of ways, but keep the youth, keep the energy that you've got, and you'll never get old. I mean that. All right. Now we're gonna make Kiddush. So who would like to join me? Rebecca, come on up. Oh, we don't have any wine. Oh, okay. Do you want to do it in the other room?
There are actually people in the other room, so why don't we bring it in the other room?
Okay. So I'm sorry, symbolically. Okay. We'll drink it in there. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Well done. Thank you.